This is my unit plan for Out of My Mind. So this is just the outline of the unit plan. I have listed all the Common Core state standards that I would be meeting, the learning objectives, how I would be assessing the students at the end of the whole unit, what kind of writing activities they would be doing, how I would differentiate each lesson, some of the essential questions I would be asking, how I would progress monitor them, and which book we would be using. So my first lesson is Who is Melody? It's creating a character map for Melody after we read the first 3 chapters of the book. It will help students be able to recognize character traits in other people. And so first we would, as a class, create a character map of Melody's mom or dad, just so that students would have a base or something to go off of for their character map about Melody. And then at the end we would share our pictures of Melody and some of the character traits that we found that she had and one thing that we had in common with her. The second lesson is communicating without using your voice. This would help students learn how to communicate without their voices, learn that there are other ways that you can communicate, and learn a little bit of empathy for people that have to use other ways of communication because they don't have, like Melody, they don't have as much control of their voice. And so to do this, students would individually or in groups, whichever worked best for them, would create some kind of device to help them communicate without their voice. This could be just like Melody's talk board. It could be letters and words and pictures together. They could create something on a computer if they needed to. They could just draw a picture of it, and then they would be using their device to talk with a partner about what they think of the book so far and make a prediction of how they think Melody might be writing this book. And then the third lesson would be how Melody felt when her Quiz Bowl team left her behind to go to nationals. This one would be more of a writing assignment. They could use a computer to type it out if that worked better for them, or text-to-speech software, or whatever they needed. And it would be just a short paper about how she felt when they left her behind, and then some evidence from the book that shows them that that's how she felt. They would fill out a graphic organizer that would help them keep track of that. And then they would also talk about how they think they would have felt had they been in Melody's position. This is an example of the character map they would use in the first lesson. So Melody's picture would go in that middle square, and then the character traits would go in each of the outside squares. This is just an example of a talkboard that they might create. There's not really a handout specifically that goes with this lesson, but I might provide them with this example just to show them kind of what I mean. And then this is the graphic organizer that students could use to help them keep track of the details they find in the text to show them how they think Melody was feeling when she got left behind, and to help them write their paper. So to differentiate each lesson, for the first one, each tier it would vary how many character traits they needed to find. For the second one, I kind of broke it into centers, but to differentiate it, we could also have students work in groups, or they could draw a picture of their device, or just like kind of verbally explain their device and maybe not have to create it if they didn't have the motor skills for that or something. But the first center, they would create their device, and then they would practice using their device with a partner, and then they would share it with the class and what they've discovered. That third lesson, it would just vary how many pages I needed to write and how many pieces of evidence I needed to find. But every tier would have the option to record or create a video of their paper and verbally tell me what they found rather than physically writing it. Throughout the whole unit, we would try to incorporate technology because that's really important to helping kids realize that there are things out there that can help make their learning easier. And I would provide audiobooks for any students that felt they needed them. And then there could be some pre-recorded videos of the chapter that could include highlighting or not. I would allow them to read with a partner or by themselves, just whatever would help them comprehend the book best. Some accommodations I might include could be adult help or guidance in leading them to the right answers or questions. The use of a scribe or text-to-speech software, they could verbally explain things. They could draw a picture, an audiobook of the text, and like I said before, type rather than handwrite. So for each level, the assessment would be a little different. For the Tier 1 kids, so most of the kids, they would be defining the important vocabulary words in the text in their own words. And then each multiple choice answer would have 3 or 4 foils. For Tier 2, they would again be defining those vocabulary words, but there would be about 3 foils rather than 4, and the questions would be more direct and to the point with fewer words. And then Tier 3, they would be matching the vocabulary words to the definitions rather than actually having to write them out. And the multiple choice answers would have about 3 foils, again with simply worded to the point questions. And that's about it.